Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 19, the appearance of Shukadeva Goswami, text number 9 and 10. 9 we will recite together, 10 I will recite for myself. Atrirvashishtascha vanasharadvan Arishtanemir bhrugurangirascha Parasharogadi sutotha Rama Utatya Indra pramadedmavaho. Translation. From different parts, please repeat, from different parts of the universe, there arrived great sages like Atri, Chavana, Sharadvan, Arishtanemi, Bhrugu, Vasishtha, Parashara, Vishwamitra, Angira, Parashurama, Utatya, Indrapramada, Idmavahu, Medhatithi, Devala, Arshtisena, Bharadvaja, Gautama, Pippalada, Maitreya, Aurva, Kavasha, Kumbhayoni, Dvaipayana, and the great personality Narada. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Chavana, a great sage and one of the sons of Bhrugu Muni. He was born prematurely when his pregnant mother was kidnapped. Chavana is one of the 6 sons of his father. Bhrugu, when Brahmaji was performing a great sacrifice on behalf of Varuna, Maharshi Bhrugu was born from the sacrificial fire. He was a great sage and his very dear wife was Puloma. He could travel in space like Durvasa, Narada and others, and he used to visit all the planets of the universe. Before the battle of Kurukshetra, he tried to stop the battle. Sometimes he instructed Bharadvaja Muni about astronomical evolution, and he is the author of the great Bhrugu Samhita, the great astrological calculation. He explained how air, fire, water and earth are generated from ether. He explained how the air in the stomach works and regulates the intestines. As a great philosopher, he logically established the eternity of the living entity, Mahabharata. He was also a great anthropologist, and the theory of evolution was long ago explained by him. He was a scientific propounder of the 4 divisions and orders of human society, known as the Varnashrama institution. He converted the Kshatriya king Vitahavya into a Brahmana. Vasishtha, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.9.6, there it is mentioned, which we would have gone through before this class. Parashara, he is the grandson of Vasishtha Muni and father of Vyasadeva. He is the son of Maharshi Shakti, and his mother's name was Adrishyati. He was in the womb of his mother when she was only 12 years old, and from within the womb of his mother he learned the Vedas. His father was killed by a demon, Kalmashapada, and to avenge this he wanted to annihilate the whole world. He was restrained, however, by his grandfather Vasishtha. He then performed a Rakshasa killing yajna, but Maharshi Pulastya restrained him. He begot Vyasadeva, being attracted to Satyavati, who was to become the wife of Maharaja Shantanu. By the blessings of Parashara, Satyavati became fragrant for miles. He was present also during the time of Bhishma's death. He was spiritual master of Maharaja Janaka and a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He is the author of many Vedic scriptures and sociological directions. Gadhi Sutta or Vishwamitra, a great sage of austerity and mystic power. He is famous as Gadhi Sutta because his father was Gadhi, a powerful king of the province of Kanyakubja, part of Uttar Pradesh. Although he was a Kshatriya by birth, he became a Brahmana in the very same body by the power of his spiritual achievements. He picked a quarrel with Vasishtha Muni when he was a Kshatriya king and performed a great sacrifice in cooperation with Maganga Muni, and thus was able to vanquish the sons of Vasishtha. He became a great yogi, and yet he failed to check his senses, and thus he was obliged to become the father of Shakuntala, the beauty queen of world history. Once, when he was a Kshatriya king, he visited the hermitage of Vasishtha Muni, and he was given a royal reception. Vishwamitra wanted from Vasishtha a cow named Nandini, and the Muni refused to deliver it. Vishwamitra stole the cow, and thus there was a quarrel between the sage and the king. Vishwamitra was defeated by the spiritual strength of Vasishtha, and thus the king decided to become a Brahmana. Before becoming Brahmana, he underwent severe austerity on the bank of the Kaushika. He was also one who tried to stop the Kurukshetra war. Angira. He is one of the 6 mental sons of Brahma and the father of Brahaspati, the great learned priest of the demigods in the heavenly planets. He was born of the semen of Brahmaji, given to a cinder of fire. Utathya and Samvarta are his sons. It is said that he is still performing austerity and chanting the holy name of the Lord at a place known as Aloka Nanda on the banks of the Ganges. Parashurama, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.9.6. Utathya, one of the 3 sons of Maharshi Angira. He was the spiritual master of Maharaja Mandhata. He married Bhadra, the daughter of Soma, moon. Varuna kidnapped his wife Bhadra, and to retaliate the offense of the god of water, he drank all the water of the world. Medha Tithi, an old sage of yore, an assembly member of the heavenly king Indradeva. His son was Kandva Muni, who brought up Shakuntala in the forest. He was promoted to the heavenly planet by strictly following the principles of retired life Vanaprastha. Devala, a great authority like Narada Muni and Vyasadeva. His good name is on the list of authorities mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita when Arjuna acknowledged Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He met Maharaj Yudhishthira after the battle of Kurukshetra, and he was the elder brother of Dhaumya, the priest of the Pandava family. Like the Kshatriyas, he also allowed his daughter to select her own husband in a Swayamvara meeting, and at that ceremony, all the bachelor sons of the rishis were invited. According to some, he is not Asita Devala. Bharadvaja, reference is there in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.9.6. Gautama, one of the 7 great sages of the universe. Sharadvan Gautama was one of his sons. Persons in the Gautama Gotra dynasty today are either his family descendants or in his disciplic succession. The Brahmanas who profess Gautama Gotra are generally family descendants, and the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas who profess Gautama Gotra are all in the line of his disciplic succession. He was the husband of the famous Ahalya, who turned into stone when Indradeva, the king of heaven, molested her. Ahalya was delivered by Lord Ramachandra. Gautama was the grandfather of Kripacharya. one of the heroes of the battle of Kurukshetra. Maitreya, a great rishi of yore, he was spiritual master of Vidura and a great religious authority. He advised Dhritarashtra to keep good relations with the Pandavas. Duryodhana disagreed and thus was cursed by him. He met Vyasadeva and had religious discourses with him. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. This is the 19th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, the appearance of Shukadeva Goswami. So, before this verse, the verse said, at that time, all the great minds and thinkers, accompanied by their disciples and sages who could verily sanctify a place of pilgrimage, just by their presence, arrived there on the plea of making a pilgrim's journey. So it is said that all the thinkers and the great minds of the universe, along with all their disciples, they came to the place where Parikshit Maharaj was going to sit for 7 days, fasting until death. And who were that great sages? Some of them are mentioned in today's 2 verses. So different great personalities and some brief introduction about those great personalities given by Srila Prabhupada in this purport. So here we see that all these great personalities, they have come on the bank of Yamuna. For what purpose? Because they know that Srimad Bhagavatam is going to be recited in the next 7 days. So in the previous purport, Prabhupada mentions, therefore, the sages who came to meet Maharaj Parikshit were not very much interested in getting themselves purified like common men. But on the plea of taking a bath in that place, they came to meet Maharaj Parikshit because they could foresee that Srimad Bhagavatam would be spoken by Shukadeva Goswami. All of them wanted to take advantage of the great occasion. So the purpose of all the sages coming there was, they knew that Srimad Bhagavatam is going to be recited there now. So taking this opportunity, these great sages from all over the universe, they came to this place. We see this picture where Shukadeva Goswami is telling Srimad Bhagavatam, and we see all the sages, different sages who are sitting. So this is the description of this picture, what we see. So all the sages are sitting surrounding Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, and they are all very eager to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And this also shows us that how famous Parikshit Maharaj was. That as soon as they came to know that Parikshit Maharaj is going to die in 7 days, the news went all over the universe, because all these sages, they are residing in different planetary systems. So from different planetary systems, people arrive just to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So with this, we can understand how important is Srimad Bhagavatam. How much glorious is Srimad Bhagavatam, that all the great personalities of the universe, they are all very eager to come and hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Just like all of us, today we are sitting Sunday morning, 9 o'clock. We are sitting here. Why we have come here? Because we all are interested in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. There are so many people in this world. So what they'll be doing yesterday, Saturday night? So they would have gone to some party. No? They would have drank liquor, ate meat, then till 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, they'll be partying. And they will get up morning 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. But there are some people who are eager to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, knowing the importance of this literature. So we'll try to understand some glories of Srimad Bhagavatam from the Bhagavatam itself and other literatures. So the Srimad Bhagavatam was first spoken by Lord Krishna himself to Brahma. So we know the beginning of creation. So how the creation takes place. So Krishna has expanded multiple expansions. Then Mahavishnu comes, and from Mahavishnu, the different universes are created. That we get the information from Brahma Samhita. Yasyaika nishvasita kalam athavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanathaha. So Mahavishnu, his one breathing out. Yasya eka nishvasita kalam. So Nishvasa is breathing out. So one Nishvasa. So once Mahavishnu breathes out, that much time, taking the opportunity, all the universes, they come into existence. Yasyaika nishvasita kalam athavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanathaha. That is the duration of life of Brahma. Only one breathing out. When Mahavishnu breathes out, Brahma takes birth and lives. And when he breathes in, so Brahma is dead. So that is the duration of the, for how much time this universe remains. But for our calculation, it is a very, very, we cannot even comprehend that many zeros we have to put to calculate the duration in terms of earthly years. So in the beginning of creation, only Brahma is there. He is born from the lotus, born on the lotus, which is grown from the navel of Vishnu, Kshirodakshai Vishnu. And he is all alone, and he is perplexed. Then he tries to find the source of this lotus on which he is sitting. Then he tries to climb down and try to find out, but he gets afraid by the devastating time. Then again he goes back on his seat on the lotus, and he hears the word tapa. Then he starts performing austerities for many, many years, and then he becomes self-realized, and he sees the spiritual world, and he also sees Vishnu. He personally meets Vishnu, and during that meeting of Vishnu, first when he became God realized and he saw Vishnu personally, then Lord Vishnu or Narayana himself speaks this Srimad Bhagavatam in 4 shlokas, which appears in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is called Chatushloki Bhagavatam. So there he describes, the shlokas are there, you can refer later maybe. Ahameva samevagre, it begins with that. So only I existed before the creation, Lord says. Only I existed before the creation. Then he also describes what is Maya. Anything which is not connected with me, that you know it as my illusory energy. So something we see as disconnected from Krishna, then it becomes illusory. So Maya or illusion is not objective, it is subjective. If we see in connection with Krishna, then there is no Maya. As soon as Krishna's connection is not there, then it becomes illusory. It becomes the cause of bondage. So this Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken in 4 shlokas to Brahma by the Lord himself. And later on, Brahma starts creating the universe, and he produces many, many sons. And one of his sons is Narada. And Narada, one day, he approaches Brahma and he questions that we see that you are so great and you are so powerful, because for everybody, they can see Brahma in front of them, his sons, and they are seeing that he is creating such a wonderful things. So many planets he is creating, so many living entities he is creating. And anybody who sees that, they may think that Brahma is the greatest. So he is the most powerful personality. So he asks him that, although you are so great, but we see that you are always engaged in austerities, meditation. So is there someone greater than you on whom you are meditating or for whom you are performing the austerities? Then at that time, Brahma speaks this Bhagavatam again to Narada Muni. What he heard from the Lord himself, he speaks this to Narada Muni, and he asks Narada Muni that you further explain this to others, further expand this. So Narada Muni further explains this to many of his disciples, and one of his celebrated disciple is Vyasadeva himself, who is none other than the plenary expansion of Krishna, who appeared for the purpose of writing this Bhagavatam for the people of Kali Yuga. So initially it is spoken by the Lord to Brahma, then Brahma to Narada, then Narada speaks the same Bhagavatam to Vyasadeva. And Vyasadeva, at the end of Dwapar Yuga and in the beginning of Kali Yuga, at that time. So till then, all the Vedic literature, it was available only in the Shruti form. Just like the Lord spoke to Brahma, he didn't give in writing, take this Bhagavatam 4 shlokas. He just spoke and Brahma heard it. And then he also just spoke the Bhagavatam to Narada Muni. Narada Muni also spoke the Bhagavatam to Vyasadeva and all his other disciples. So this is called Shruti. So hearing from the spiritual master. So Vyasadeva could see that in Kali Yuga, the people of Kali Yuga, they are going to be very short memory. Their memory will not be very sharp. They will not be able to remember lot of things. So for that purpose, he started compiling all the Vedic knowledge which was available as a Shruti, heard from spiritual master to disciple. He started compiling all of that knowledge in a written format. That's how we have got all the Vedic literature today. Whatever Vedas or Puranas or Vedanta or Upanishads, whatever we see today in the printed form, they were all compiled by Vyasadeva. And if we see, it is not an ordinary task. Such a huge literature. It is not humanly possible to compile all this Vedic literature by any human being. It is not humanly possible. So, Krishna himself had to take an incarnation as Vyasadeva for this specific purpose of compiling all the Vedic literature. So, Vyasadeva's intention was doing good to the people of Kali Yuga. For the people of Kali Yuga, so that they may get benefited, he started compiling all the Vedic literatures. So first of all, he divided the Veda into 4 divisions, Rig Veda, Atharva Veda, Yajur Veda and Sama Veda. Then he gave it to his many disciples to further explain these Vedas. Then he compiled different Puranas. Then he compiled the Upanishads, which is called Vedanta. Then he compiled the Vedanta Sutra, which is the summary of all the Vedanta. Then he also wrote the Itihasa, Mahabharata. So it is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam itself that Stri Shudra Dvijabandhunam Traina Shruti Gochara Iti Bharatam Akyanam. So generally in the former ages, the Vedas, the Upanishads and the Brahma Sutras, only the Brahmanas used to study. So the other sections of the society, so for them he had compiled the Puranas. The same knowledge which is there in the Vedas, in a simplified way, it is mentioned in the Purana, so the other sections of the society can also get benefited out of it. And he also compiled the Mahabharata, because generally people are more interested in politics, crime, then war. People are more interested in these kind of things. So he compiled the history of the greater India, Mahabharata, which had the family quarrel between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. And later on, there was a greatest war in the history, Mahabharata. So that also he compiled. And the specific reason for compiling that was because in the Mahabharata, before the battle begins, Krishna has spoken Bhagavad Gita, which is the essence of all the Vedic literatures. So people who are so curious to hear about politics, then sociology and wars and all these things, they may get an opportunity to hear Bhagavad Gita in Mahabharata. With that intention, he also compiles Mahabharata. So he started all this compiling of the Vedic literature with a good intention that the people of Kali Yuga should be benefited by reading this literature. Because without Vedic literatures, there is no way we can understand who we are, what is the purpose of life, who is God, what is his existence. Without the help of Vedic literature, there is no way we can understand these things. The only way we can understand who is God, who we are, what is the purpose of life, what is his existence, it is only through the Vedic literature. And Prabhupada gives the example that if you want to know your father, The only way you can know your father is ask your mother. That's all. There is no further research required. Just you have to hear from your mother that this person is your father. That is the end of it. There is no need of making any research. So the same way, if you want to know God, the only way, the simplest way is to refer to the Vedic literature. Maya Mugdha Jeever Nahi Swatah Krishna Gyan Ataeva Krishna Kaila Veda Puran. So the living entities which are entrapped by the illusory energy, on their own they cannot understand Krishna, they cannot understand God. For that purpose, Krishna has given this different Vedic literature so that they can know him and come back to him. So just imagine if Vyasadeva had not compiled these Vedic literatures, if he has not written this Bhagavatam and other Vedic literature, what would be the position of the people of Kali Yuga? We would have been just like the Westerners, the people who are born in other parts of the world. So they have no information, who they are, who is God, what is the purpose of life. They have no information. So if this literature would not have been there, so there was no chance that a living entity can understand who is God, who is he himself or she himself. So Vyasadeva started compiling all this Vedic literature with a good intention that people of Kali Yuga who are very unfortunate, then their age is very short and they are always troubled by different miseries and their memory is also very short. So for them, let me do some good work so that they can read this literature and then they can become self-realized. So generally, when we do good to others, then what happens? We feel a kind of satisfaction within also. When we do good to others, we also feel satisfied from within. Now Vyasadeva, after writing so many literature, 4 Vedas, 18 Puranas, then Upanishad, then Vedanta Sutra, then Mahabharata, after writing all those things, still he was not satisfied within himself. So that time, his spiritual master Narad Muni appears. That is described in the same first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So when Narad Muni appears, it comes in the Srimad Bhagavatam itself. Narada Uvacha Bhavata Anudita Prayam Yasho Bhagavato Amalam Yenai Vasau Natushyeta Manye Tad Darshanam Khilam. Shri Narada said, you have not actually broadcast the sublime and spotless glories of the personality of Godhead. That philosophy which does not satisfy the transcendental senses of the Lord is considered worthless. So till now, whatever work Vyasadeva has done, because he has not written Bhagavatam yet, except Bhagavatam, he has done everything else. And he is not satisfied. So then Narad Muni says that philosophy which does not satisfy the transcendental senses of the Lord is considered worthless. So what Vyasadeva had done was to guide the human society. He had given different rules and regulations, and following that rules and regulations, you can live a religious life. And generally, the living entities in the material world, they are very much fond of sense gratification. So, to restrict their sense gratification, the religious scriptures, they talk about instead of enjoying unrestricted sense enjoyment, you should get married. So they have put a rule that men and women cannot unrestrictedly enjoy. They should get married. So if you want to enjoy, then you should get married. So this is how the religious scriptures rules are mentioned. And if you want to eat meat, then you should perform sacrifice on the Amavasya day to the Kali. So those who are in the mode of tamoguna. If you want to drink wine, then this is the procedure. So that way, the Vedic literature, so this is called pravritti marga. So pravritti marga means those who are having a tendency to enjoy. So for them, some restrictions are given. Instead of leading their life in an unrestricted way, you follow certain rules and regulations, and by doing that, gradually you will realize that what I am doing is not correct, and then they come to the path of self-realization. So that Narad Muni condemns that jigupsitam dharmakrite anushasatah स्वभावरक्तस्य महान व्यतिक्रमः यद वाक्यतो धर्म इतरतः स्थितो न मन्यते तस्य निवारणम जनः. The people in general are naturally inclined to enjoy, and you have encouraged them in that way in the name of religion. This is verily condemned and is quite unreasonable. Because they are guided under your instructions, they will accept such activities in the name of religion and will hardly care for prohibitions. Now, because it is given in the Vedas, what people will do? They are naturally inclined to enjoy. So they will take only those things which they like, and they will give up all the prohibitions. They will throw away all the prohibitions into the air, and they will, in the name of religion, they will be simply doing sense gratification. And if you see practically what is happening in Kali Yuga, people have given up all the directions of the Shastras, and simply they are engaged in sense gratification. So this was condemned by Narada Muni. Even before that, Narada Muni says, Yatha dharmadayascha artha munivarya anukirtitaha na tatha vasudevasya mahimahi anuvarnitaha. So, how much you have glorified these rules and regulations, and how under these restrictions you can enjoy. So much stress you have given to this, but you have not glorified Krishna. This is the cause of your dissatisfaction. Although great sage, you have very broadly described the four principles beginning with religious performances. You have not described the glories of the Supreme Personality, Vasudeva. So this is the defect of Vyasadeva before he compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. Then he says, Nayadvachas chitrapadam harer yasho jagat pavitram pragranita karhichit tad vayasam tirtham ushanti manasa nayatra hamsa niramanti ushikshaya. Those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly persons to be like unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. So crows, where do they go? Where there is garbage. Crows will be assembled. They will be having their meeting party where some garbage is thrown. So Narad Muni is telling here, those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord. Suppose you have written something and it is not glorifying Krishna, then that literature is as good as a place of pilgrimage for the crows. That means it is as good as garbage. Since the all perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. So those who are all perfect, they don't take any pleasure in such literature. On the other hand, he describes about the literature which glorify Krishna. Tadvag visargo janatagha viplavo yasmin pratishlokam abadhavatyapi namani anantasya yashonkitani yat shrunvanti gayanti grananti sadavaha. So on contrast to such literature which do not describe the glories of Krishna, on the other hand, that literature which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc. of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a different creation, full of transcendental words directed toward bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literature, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. So this describes the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. that it can purify the whole world and it can bring about a revolution in the misdirected civilization. So modern world we see people are so much busy working for sense gratification only, without knowing the real purpose of life, without understanding that I am not this body, I am inside the body as a spirit soul, and the soul is changing the bodies, and after this I have to accept another next body, and there are 84 lakhs of species of life. Without any of this information, people are busy engaging in sense gratification, and they finish their life and then again go to the one more material body. So this way Narada Muni condemns that you have not exclusively or sufficiently glorified Krishna. And then he writes that now you write one literature which exclusively glorifies only the activities of Krishna. Atho mahabhaga bhavan amogadrik shuchishrava satyarato dhradavrataha urukramasya akhilabandha muktaye samadhina anusmara tad vicheshtitam. So he says, O Vyasadeva, your vision is completely perfect. Your good fame is spotless. You are firm in your vow and situated in truthfulness. And thus you can think of the pastimes of the Lord in trance for the liberation of the people in general from all material bondages. So he says, Vyasadeva, that you are amoghadrik. Amoghadrik means you have got perfect vision. And you know all the pastimes of the Lord which he has performed in the past, different incarnations. Now you meditate upon them, samadhina anusmara, and then you describe them for the benefit of people in general. So this way, this Srimad Bhagavatam was compiled by Vyasadeva under the direction of his spiritual master Narada Muni. And later on, he teaches this Srimad Bhagavatam to his son Shukadeva Goswami. So Shukadeva Goswami, he was liberated from his very birth. As soon as he took birth, he started running away from the home because he didn't wanted to get entangled in the materialistic way of life. So immediately he started running away from the home for engaging in self-realization. So he was impersonalist. So he was Brahmavadi, or who wants to merge into the existence of Brahma Jyoti. So to his son, he teaches this Srimad Bhagavatam, which he compiled under the direction of Narada Muni, and which is full of the descriptions of the different pastimes of Krishna in his different incarnations. And after studying this Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami becomes very dear to the Vaishnavas. Generally, this impersonalist and the Vaishnavas, they are always, arguing. Impersonalists say that their philosophy is the highest, and Vaishnavas, we know that beyond impersonalism there is Paramatma realization, and beyond that there is Bhagavan realization. So he becomes very, very dear to the Vaishnavas after studying this Srimad Bhagavatam. And this Shukadeva Goswami, when Parikshit Maharaj was about to die, he appears on that place where Parikshit Maharaj is sitting to recite the same Bhagavatam which he heard from, which he learned from his father Vyasadeva. And for 7 days continuously, Parikshit Maharaj asks different questions, and Shukadeva Goswami, quoting from different historical incidences, goes on describing different incarnations of Krishna, culminating up to the last 10th canto, where he fully describes the birth and activities of the Supreme Lord Krishna, which comes in the 10th canto. Till then, he has described different other incarnations of Krishna. In the 10th canto, the entire life of Krishna is described. And whatever we know about Krishna is all from this Srimad Bhagavatam. Whatever we know about different Krishna's pastimes, where he took birth, when he took birth, what all demons he killed, what all pastimes he performed, all that we know today, it is all from Srimad Bhagavatam only. And in that assembly, there was one more great sage who was Suta Goswami. So Suta Goswami was sitting there just like so many other sages. He had also come to that place, and he was hearing Srimad Bhagavatam when it was being recited to Parikshit Maharaj. And later on, the 7 days, the Bhagavatam is over, and Parikshit Maharaj leaves his body. And after many, many years, there was a great assembly in, what was that place? Naimisharanya. In Naimisharanya, many sages headed by Shaunaka Rishi, they all have assembled, and they also are performing different sacrifices for the welfare of the people in general. And in that assembly, Suta Goswami is there. He appears there, and the sages, they know that Suta Goswami has heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukadeva Goswami many, many years ago when Parikshit Maharaj was about to die. Then they request Suta Goswami that you please describe the Srimad Bhagavatam, what you heard from Shukadeva Goswami. That we hear in the previous chapters, the first few chapters. And there, Suta Goswami, because they had asked one question that where is Dharma taken shelter now? Krishna has gone away. Now where is the Dharma? Krishne swadhamopagate dharma jnana divisaha kalau nashtadrshamesha puranarko adhuna uditaha. So they had asked the question that where Dharma is present now, where Dharma has taken shelter now. So for that, Suta Goswami replies that Krishne swadhama upagate dharma jnana adivisaha kalau nashtadrshamesha puranarko adhuno uditaha. So this Srimad Bhagavatam, this Bhagavata Purana is as brilliant as the sun, and it is arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. So the people of Kali Yuga can get the light of knowledge only from this Srimad Bhagavatam. Then he says that Tatra Kirtayato Vipra Viprarsher Bhuri Tejaha Aham Chadhyagmam Tatra Nivishtas Tadanugrahat Soham Vaha Shravayishyami Yathadhitam Yathamati. So he says that I heard this Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukadeva Goswami, and now I am going to recite the same Srimad Bhagavatam Yathadhitam Yathamati, as I have heard it and as I have realized it. So Suta Goswami then describes the Srimad Bhagavatam to the sages of Naimisharanya. And as soon as the Shaunaka Rishi hears that he is going to recite Srimad Bhagavatam, he becomes very, very excited, and he congratulates Suta Suta Mahabhaga Vadano Vadatam Vara Katham Bhagavatim Punyam Yadaha Bhagavan Shukaha. So he becomes so excited that he addresses Suta Suta Mahabhaga, Oh Suta Goswami, you are so fortunate. You please describe the same Bhagavatam which you heard from Shukadeva Goswami to us. So this also shows that how much eager they were to hear this Srimad Bhagavatam. Then after that, this Srimad Bhagavatam, later on, there are many, many stalwart acharyas who have written commentaries on this Srimad Bhagavatam, and prominent among them is Sridhar Swami. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he appeared 500 years ago, he specifically propagated this preaching of this Srimad Bhagavatam. He has ordered everybody that Yare Dekho, Tare Kaho, Krishna Upadesh. So what is that Krishna Upadesh? That Krishna Upadesh is Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So Amaragnya Guru Hayya Tare Desh, Yare Dekho Tare Kaho, Krishna Upadesh. So he has told everybody that wherever you are living, which desha, which place you are surrounding, your neighborhood, so there you preach this Srimad Bhagavatam. And there are descriptions that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because of time, we may not be able to cover that today. And there are many, many acharyas who have written later commentaries like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Jiva Goswami and many other acharyas. And Prabhupada's spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he has written a commentary in Bengali on Srimad Bhagavatam. And later on, the essence of all their commentaries is presented by Srila Prabhupada. So the Bhagavatam, what we now see today, is the same Bhagavatam which was spoken by the Lord himself to Brahma, expanded into this form. And now for the people of Kali Yuga, in a common language which everybody can understand. So Prabhupada has painstakingly translated all this Sanskrit knowledge into English language. And after that, this book is translated into almost all the languages of the world. All the languages, Bhagavatam is available now. So it's all how Vyasadeva, the purpose for which he had compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam, that it should be used by the people of Kali Yuga for their benefit, for getting liberated. So that purpose is ultimately fulfilled by Srila Prabhupada by translating it into English language and further translating it into all other languages. So we should understand the importance of this literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, and we should all have one copy of this with us. It is the greatest treasure. We should all have Srimad Bhagavatam in our homes. And not only keep it, we should also make it a regular daily habit that every day we should read. At least one shloka, two shloka, 1 page, 2 page, whatever. Every day we should read Srimad Bhagavatam. And not only we should read, we should also tell others what is the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. This will be the greatest service we can do to others. If you are interested in doing good to others, we should just tell them, preach them about Srimad Bhagavatam. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam only it is described in the beginning that Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So one becomes a nishta bhakta, very firm devotee by everyday reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And tada rajastomo bhava kamalobhadayasche chetayete ranavidham stitam sattve prasidati. So one becomes fully satisfied, fully joyful, fully happy just by regularly reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And all the effects of tamoguna, rajoguna, everything gets destroyed. And one gets situated in satyaguna and then becomes happy. Stitam sattve prasidati. And the glories of Bhagavatam, in the beginning, the first 2-3 shlokas describe the glories of Bhagavatam. Idam Bhagavatam nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam. So it is full of the spiritual knowledge. And this is also described as the body of Krishna. The 12 cantos are described as different bodily parts of Krishna. The first 2 cantos being the lotus feet of Krishna. So that way, if you are every day reading Bhagavatam, every day touching Bhagavatam, we are directly coming in touch with Krishna. So we request everyone to possess one copy of Srimad Bhagavatam and also try to distribute this Srimad Bhagavatam. Now the book marathon is going on, almost coming to an end. But even beyond this book marathon, whole year also, we should all try to distribute this Srimad Bhagavatam to as many people as possible. So we'll stop here if there are any questions. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि।